Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
We do keep it clean, except when we don't.
Right.
And also people don't know that we have our Biofriendly After Dark show.
That's right. Biofriendly After
Which is
Dark,
when the
where we talk about the more sensual environmental needs.
Oils.
Compostable condoms coming your way.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
The glow in the dark kind.
It's important to keep it biodegradable.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well,
Which our guest might even be able to talk about.
I
the
think
possibility of
it's
could
worth.
condoms be compostable?
It is a question that we could ask, and but if we go in that terrain, we gotta tread lightly, boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have to
and
bleep
gal.
when we say condoms? Do we have to bleep that?
Not the way you're saying it. I can hardly recognize it. You don't even sound like an American right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Biofriendly Podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Noel.
And we got Elise over there. But you can hear some pleasant, delightful chuckles, some laughter in the background. And right now,
we are so lucky.
We are so lucky to have this guest today. I'm excited to have him on the Biofriendly Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jon Reed, the founder of Compostic from New Zealand.
Hey, welcome.
Hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you've come all the way from New Zealand to be on our silly podcast.
Yeah.
All the way, man. All the way, just for you guys. It was an arduous journey, but I'm here.
Unbelievable. I had to go all the way out from the computer all the way through the little lines that, because they come in, in the internet devices.
Well, how long of a flight is it? You've done that flight. How long of a flight would it be from New Zealand?
Auckland is closer than Melbourne for sure. Well, but you're probably still 14, right? 13 hours or so?
Well, it depends where you go to the States as well.
We're
I guess
LA.
you guys
We're
are kind of
LA.
Okay,
so as close as almost you can get.
I think it's about 16 hours, but I haven't been able to do it for a couple of years now. In fact, I haven't been over since I was very young, but obviously with the situation we're in, we can't go anywhere. So this is it. This is my traveling.
Yeah, but I suppose the upside of that is there's almost no COVID at all down there, is there? I mean,
there wasn't until a couple of weeks ago, but that's why you find me locked up in my house again. We got a few cases pop up, and we're back at home. But we've been pretty free, man. We've been living life real easy for the last 18 months, so I got no complaints.
Just keep out the rotten Yankees. You'll be fine.
Yeah, keep them out of your country.
We're trying, man. We're building that wall.
Yeah.
But once
hold on a second. The idea of an island that has a wall also around the island is about my favorite concept. That just in my mind, you swim all the way from America to New Zealand thinking, okay, I'm free, and then you get there and there's a wall.
There's a wall around
all the way around.
And the worst thing is, we made you guys pay for it as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
so
what we
sneaky.
Get.
So sneaky. They probably, people in New Zealand probably wanted to start keeping Americans out once Lord of the Rings came out, because I would imagine that they
don't want to share those hobbit holes.
They don't want to share the hobbit holes. Everybody, the touristy rate probably went through the roof after that movie. I bet
you're all angry. Is everybody angry at Peter Jackson?
Yeah, pretty much. Good friend of mine, actually, and my cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he really?
No, not at all.
See, because we think that everybody in New Zealand is related. That's our mistake.
Yeah. We're not far removed. Like, honestly, I could walk out on the street today, and I'd find someone, and we'd find someone we know who knows someone we know. Yeah, we're all interconnected. We're one big community.
Oh, that's lovely. It's lovely.
What's the weather like in New Zealand this time of year?
Horrible.
What's it like?
It's winter right now. It's the end of winter.
It's really tropical country, especially in Auckland. You're going to have it pouring down with rain for 10 minutes, then the sun comes out, and then it rains, and then so you can't do anything. You got to take an umbrella everywhere with you just in case. But yeah, as you said, it's winter at the moment, so it's cold. Yeah. Heater's on inside and all the rest of it.
Yeah. So now the Southern Island is summer. It's still pretty tropical, but the Southern Island's a bit more frosty, isn't it, during this time of year?
Yeah. Much colder down there. So thank God I'm not around those ways. Especially now that you can't do any skiing or anything. It's a lot colder down there.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, I'm so happy you joined us today, and we were excited to talk about, so real quick, let's start out for our audience, just letting them know what Compostic is. What is it?
So Compostic is a company that was basically born to combat plastic waste. So
Awesome.
We believe with like our sort of technology that there's literally no excuse to use plastic anymore, right? Like we have a perfectly functional replacement for it. It acts and works just like plastic in the home, and then it breaks down in 12 to 24 weeks in your compost. So like, why would you ever use plastic again, right? We've got the solution, and we want to make it easy for people to transfer away from plastic to something more sustainable.
Is composting? So we got to go by the proper pronunciation.
So we should say composting in honor of him.
Yeah.
You guys are literally going to have subtitles at the bottom. You're going to have a translator come in. Have you ever seen things a little bit differently?
Did you see the original Mad Max?
No, I don't think I have.
I think that actually had subtitles because the Australian accents were so raw, and the dialect they were using was so insane that they actually put put subtitles on at least the original versions.
They're like, Americans are never going to know what the hell these guys are saying.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you're doing great. I can understand everything clearly, but
we'll
it is
say composting.
Compostic. Let's say compostic.
From here on out. Well, actually, the company, we would say compostic because it's not an American company.
That's true.
So if we say compostic, we are pronouncing it wrong.
Correct.
But we can say composting, I guess.
Yeah.
But we'll stick with your stuff. Composting.
Hey guys, it's whatever you want it to be. You know? Whatever you want it to be.
You are our kind of environmentalist, man.
Yeah.
Just live, man.
Exactly, man. It's easy.
Is composting popular in New Zealand? Do a lot of people do it?
Yeah, I think it's becoming a lot more popular. I think there's a lot more awareness around for it these days. I think actually one of the major things is, I don't know if it's a craze over there, but people have got really into like indoor plants and doing their gardening and decorating with plants and things like that. And that's, I guess that's helped build awareness. And then products like ours, we've always told the story about like an apple, right? You've eaten an apple all your life. You don't pick it up one day and it tells you, hey, I don't want to go in your rubbish bin anymore. I want to go in your compost. But
right.
With our sort of products, we found that it has made people question, what is compostic? What does compostable mean? And therefore, what is composting? Why should I do it? And all the rest of it. And it sort of leads them into a little bit of research, and then they change their ways. And then certainly in schools, we're educating a lot more on these sorts of things. A lot of schools are building their own compost with the children. They're taking it home and saying, Mum, Dad, we got to have our own compost. It's important. So yeah, there's a little bit more of it. Not enough by any means, but it's growing for sure.
It's so funny because so we've got a coffee place right down the street that just opened, and they're trying to make their difference to the environment and help out. And they're asking us, because we do the show, whatever else, they're asking, what can we do? And they say, well, we bought these compostable cups, right? And can people just like throw them away? And we're like, well, you got to put them in with the compost. And like, oh, well, so where's that? What's that? It's like, okay, people have to be doing that. They have to be composting or composting, or it won't necessarily work yet. So what you'd probably want to do is just educate people on what that is. Which brings me to my next question, which is, let's go, because we've talked about it a little bit on the show in the past, but it's been a while.
It has been a while.
And it'll be better to get your fresh perspective. So explain to us, how could somebody set up, if they wanted to make a difference and start composting, how would they do it? And then kind of lead through the advantages of doing that in your home, like what that means.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to keep it real simple. And
I love it.
I guess the idea behind the company is to make sustainability easy for people, right? Because a lot of people want to be really sustainable. They have no idea how.
Right.
And then when they go to look up how they can, they're overwhelmed with all this information, and a lot of information out there there's too much of it. It's like, you got to do this and that. It's simple, guys. Like, find yourself a bin, a trash can, I think you guys call it.
That's why you can't say bin.
I'm self-translating a little bit.
If you say bin, people put cookies in it.
Yeah, right.
That's a whole other. That's a whole other.
Cookies. Yeah, cookies is another thing. We call them biscuits.
Biscuits or bickies.
Yeah, bickies. It's real simple. I think like people don't need to think too much about it. Like, you find a tumbler or you find a worm farm or whatever, and you get started. You need a little bit of soil. You need a mixture between your greens and your browns. So your greens are like your yard trimmings, your plant cuttings, your fruit and veggie scraps, coffee grounds that you mentioned. Then you got your browns, which are like brown leaves that have fallen from the tree. You got twigs, you got wood chips, paper towels, sawdust, all those sorts of things. Real simple. Just get a mix of that going, chuck it all in, and mix it around. Honestly, it's as simple as that. Yeah. You don't you can get way more technical. I've listened to a load of podcasts that go on for an hour about all the different methodologies, but the reality is pick up your kids, go into the garden, throw some dirt around, and you're done, right? You just need somewhere to put it all. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah.
And the benefits are absolutely massive. I mean, I find it odd, we're one of the only species that goes out of our way to do the wrong thing with our waste or our resource, right? Everything else in the world, it dies or it falls on the ground and it breaks down and it adds nutrients to the soil. And then through that, we have new life. And humans, we're just nah, we're not going to do that. We're gonna screw it all up. We're going to spend billions of dollars changing the system so it's way less sustainable and way less healthy.
Yeah, so true.
And that's what.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go.
Well, which kind of brings me to the next point. It's because people don't quite realize how much of their food waste could actually be composted. Yeah. So can you kind of go into that for a minute? Because I think that's a key point. Because I don't think people realize how if you're doing it, there's a lot of advantages to the amount of waste you are now turning into something useful for your garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. We talk so much about how much waste goes to landfills and how we're filling up all these holes in the ground with all this waste. How do we prevent it, and so on and so forth. What people don't realize is actually almost 50% of your waste at home is organic and can be composted. So
50%.
50%. We're not talking about a niche 5% here that hey, if we make this change, every little bit helps. Half of it, right? It's incredible. So it's so important to get started, and then the benefits of it are incredible. At the moment, we send all of that organic waste into landfills that tend to be anaerobic. For those who aren't aware, that means that they're not getting any oxygen. Oxygen is required for things to start breaking down, and when you don't have that oxygen present, then what you start to get is that organic waste will rot, and when it starts rotting, it releases methane gases into the atmosphere, right? And if those methane gases aren't captured, they're 30 times more harmful than carbon dioxide entering our atmosphere.
Wow.
So it's so important to reduce that. We know that a third of the greenhouse gases that enter the atmosphere in the US every year that humans create is through organic waste going to landfill. A third of it. So again, a huge difference that we can make to the production of methane gases and greenhouse gases entering into our atmosphere. So there are so many important reasons why it's important. One of the other main ones that I think people don't realize is the quality of soil. We around the world,
we're
the
destroying
quality
it.
of our soils and farms is degrading really quickly. I think in the last 40 years, it's something like a third of our farmlands have become useless because of the soil quality. And that's because we're using things like artificial fertilizers instead of natural resources like compost. And with that, because you don't have all the microbes and nutrients and things, it doesn't absorb the same amount of water. So that water just sort of sits on the top of that soil. And then when it does eventually come down, it pulls all the topsoil down with it, which is the high quality stuff. And it leaves all the crap on the top. And then that soil quickly, or that land quickly becomes unusable. And there's a really simple solution. Again, it's compost. Compost holds 5 to 20 times its water waste. And so in doing so, we are able to benefit with much better agriculture and land. We can produce more product. We can produce higher quality product. Another massive benefit to composting. If you look, sorry, go.
Yeah, no, what you just said is so interesting. I was sent a video about 2 weeks ago, and I'll give it to you, Jacob, so we could put it up on the painless screen.
Yeah.
But it's a video that shows it's these two farms that are next to each other, and then there's a flood, and there's water going through, right? And you'll see that on the top half where there's a farm it's an organic one, right? And so obviously this is a video they're showing off the difference from how you farm, what the difference is, right? So the water's clear, running down, like flying down this little like stream that's been created, and it's going along. It's all clear water, and then suddenly you get to this spot where it's brown and it's dirt and it's like it's a totally different river. Now coming into it, it doubles up, and then from there on out, the river the whole way down as they're following it is completely like mucky, messed up brown. And they follow the river source back, and it shows, and it's on the next farm down, which is a corporate farm, which is doing exactly what you're talking about. And they were talking about this is happening to our soil right now. This is where like you get a flood like this, and all of this topsoil just disappears. It just goes. Whereas the farm just up the way, which is using good old fashioned old style farming, is the soil staying where it is. It's all fine.
Totally. And you touch on another thing there, like that water then gets in our waterways, in our rivers, and our streams and things like that. And the new style of farming with their artificial fertilizers and things like that, that's all seeping into the water, right?
Yep.
And then that all those chemicals that are coming from those farms go into the river, which eventually runs into the ocean.
Right.
So again, we talk about the oceans a lot. We're putting a load of chemicals and other things into the ocean. And again, composting is the solution to that,
And the waterways in general, right? I mean, you get fish, you get, like you talk about microbes and bacteria, which are important for composting and a billion other things you don't realize.
Yeah.
That it all gets ruined. It all gets messed up.
What's so great about what you've done is that all of this has been a very succinct explanation that I think that anyone can understand. And oftentimes, I think, especially with composting and these kinds of subjects,
I think it's hard.
Yeah. We covered this like 2 years ago. And if you do drill in too much into online articles and brown versus green and the ideal environments, people get overwhelmed and they go, well, never mind, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? And so you kind of have to present it in such a way that you go, it's easy. It's really not what you're making it out to be. It's very simple to get it started. And I know that in the USA, that's the problem, is that most people hear the word and they go, I don't get it. But it's really easy to get. It's very easy to get.
And once you've done it right, you've got nutrients. You've got what you need for your yard. For like it's done. You lay it on there and you're golden. Like you're gonna have the greenest, most beautiful garden and yard in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Oh, we froze.
We froze him. Did I lose you? Our connection we may have lost you for a second, John. You there? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I'm back.
There he is.
And he's back. That'll be
just getting into the flow of things. You don't know what you missed there.
That was it. That was the gold. We lost it.
Go.
It was the best. It was the best ever.
Can you remember what you said, or is it gone?
Oh, it was hilarious. I was crying with laughter.
And it's
Even
gone.
my cat was laughing.
Oh, no. And your cat's kind of grumpy. It's a tough audience.
Yeah,
That's
tough
amazing.
crowd, right?
I know. He's only got 3 legs, so he has reason to be upset. But I truly just cheered him up here,
Oh, that's good.
That's beautiful.
But
I'm glad that, I'm sorry the rest of the world didn't get to hear it. But it's great that your cat feels good.
Cat feels good.
Yeah. That's the most important thing. Yeah. No, where I was going was, I think the reason I try to make it really simple is I'm that type of consumer. That's how this all started. Mm-hmm. I was actually born out of ignorance. 5 or 6 years ago, I had no idea the harm that we were doing to our environment. I didn't grow up being taught that in schools or anything.
Right.
Nobody told me that plastic was bad for the world. I was using it left, right, and center, no problem.
Sure.
And when I had that moment of enlightenment, I was the same. I was kind of like, I'd love to be more sustainable, but how? Like, I don't want to go through all this effort. And so that's kind of why we did what we did. Was I thought, it's all very good and well trying to find alternatives to plastic, but if it's not convenient and doesn't fit into your lifestyle, or if it's not functional, then it's not going to stick, right?
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to find a solution that everyone could pick up straight away and say, well, this is exactly like, the product I've been using for the last 10 years, but I don't have to feel guilty about using it anymore. I can feel good that I'm doing something sustainable. And I think that's how we're going to convert the 95% of the population that is required to be converted in order to make a real difference here. Yeah. So that's why the whole thing was born out of ignorance and I guess you could say to some extent laziness, right? Yeah. I didn't want to change my lifestyle either. So I decided that I'd create a product that meant that I didn't have to, and neither did anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that innovation is born out of laziness.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. That's probably somebody has said that
100%.
before.
I don't want to carry this stuff anymore, so I'm going to put wheels on a cart and I'm going to push it.
I'm tired of doing all the work, so I've got to innovate something. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like, yeah, of course, the greatest, most brilliant minds, they work hard and they apply things. But
if I have to light one more candle, forget it. I'm going to create a switch with electricity and a light bulb.
Absolutely. Innovation comes because you're tired. The remote control exists because somebody's like, I have to get up every time I want to change the channel?
That's absurd.
You're kidding me.
Wait, you mean I have to turn the key to make the car start? Yeah. No, give me a button.
This is going to take an hour for me to cook? No. Beep, 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 beep. Microwave. That's how it all happens.
It is.
Well, so we, this is
laziness gets us into and out of this position.
Absolutely. It gets us into it and out of it.
Yes.
But this is why you're such an ideal fit for the show, and I'm glad you're here. And we talked a little bit beforehand, which is the only way we get out of this is to reach the people that go, I don't want to be bothered. I'm already busy.
I mean, that's what this show is.
This show
you've reached the right place.
You're in the audience that
totally.
want to help, but they don't know how.
Yeah,
and so,
well, people who care, but they're a bit like also. To be fair to our audience, because I feel like we're throwing them a little under the bus, it's also busyness, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so part of it is like you're lazy, whatever, but also, I mean, the day goes by, you've got 1,000 things that you have to get done throughout the day, particularly now with the pace that the world moves. And you get to the end of the day, you're like, oh God, did I do anything to help anything? And people realize they haven't. So it's like you have to find ways to throw in habits that just don't take that much time and don't make it that very difficult.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the way I've always looked at it. Like everything in the world is becoming more convenient and at the tip of your fingers. Like you can do everything from your phone now. That's why we're so busy, because everything's right there. Like you can't put things down. It's always right in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, exactly. Like we've got to learn to try and fit in with people's lives rather than get them to change their habits or lifestyles. You're just not going to get there doing that. It doesn't make sense. And all you're going to do is piss people off.
Right.
Yeah. So true.
No, we always say the easiest way to stop global warming is to everybody turn off your phone. Just turn them off. Turn off all your phones and stop driving.
Yeah.
And don't ship anything to your house anymore.
Yeah.
Don't collect. Just handle stuff at home. It's easy. Done.
Yeah.
It's fixed.
But
is anyone going to do that?
No.
Totally. I mean, like even going into composting, right? Like again, like I'm talking about making things easy, and composting is really easy. But there's a next step as well around the world. Like it's our waste management systems that should be changing. We've already got trucks going around and picking up your garbage. See that?
Yep.
Use the American language there. Love that.
Garbage.
That was very good. Very good.
Thank you.
You're practically one of us.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Listen to that. I love it.
Oh, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So I don't see why they can't pick it up for us as well. I mean, that's got to be the way that we go. And I think, we're just about to pass the Composting Act in America, which is a move in the right direction. And that's funding that's going towards building more facilities around the country so that we can have easier access to industrial composting. But that's the way we've got to move,
Yeah.
It's just logic. We've got to solve this problem. We've got to stop throwing things into landfill. And that's certainly a massive way to do that. And I think our governments and our local councils have to start getting behind that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, just to continue on while we're teaching our audience stuff. So what in the house can you throw in the compost bin?
Well, it depends where you're reading, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's many things. It's pretty much all your food scraps. And I guess it depends what you want to do with your compost as well. So a lot of people would say don't put in like your meats, fats, oils, things like that, but pretty much everything else, all of your food scraps, all of your garden waste, like everything can pretty much go in there. There are a few things to avoid, like I say, but a lot of it can go straight into your compost, and it's all healthier. It's all adding to it, right?
Yeah, and cardboard too, right? Cardboard, paper.
Yeah, paper, cardboard, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when
folks. So that means your apple cores, your Cheez-Its.
Yeah. Cheez-Its.
your granola bars.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, those cherry pits.
Yeah. Go in the compost bin.
The tops of the strawberries that you don't want to eat, the bottoms of the bananas that are apparently poison.
Yeah.
All that can go in the
Apparently
peel.
poison?
Yeah, no.
It's a joke that Jacob and I have.
In the United States, I don't know if this is a thing where you are as well. It's so funny how so a banana, if you open it up and there's even just 1 ounce of like a dark spot on it, people here are like, I won't even. It's like break off that entire part of the banana.
No,
itself.
I was talking about the nubbin at the end.
The nub.
So when you're done with the banana and you peel the end of it out, and then there's that little nub at the very bottom of it.
Yeah.
We don't eat that.
Yeah.
Why we don't eat that? I don't know. We could eat that. It absolutely would go in your mouth and taste just fine, but we don't. It pops off that little nubbin at the very end that sits in the peel when you get it out. That's apparently like absolute poison.
Disgusting.
Don't eat that because it'll be
and it's fine.
Which it's not poison. It's just, but that's the joke. It's like we won't eat it because it's obviously deadly.
I eat all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so environmentally friendly, right? I eat my apple cores and things like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Laziness, man. I don't want to get up and throw it away. I've eaten my apple. I'm eating the core as well.
I love it.
Do you eat the stem?
Yeah, absolutely. Just little bites, little nibbles.
Yeah. Hell, it'll put you to sleep.
It's a chewy treat at the end.
It's chewy. It's like a chewy toothpick. Well,
adds real texture,
Yeah, I believe it.
You said this was about 5-6 years ago. Is that how long ago this began? This journey of the company? About 5-6 years?
I think I lose track of time. Honestly,
Sure.
It could be 10. I don't know.
I don't know what day it is now.
Feels like last week, but
It's Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Not for me. It's not Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Friday there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the idea kind of popped up. About 5 or 6 years ago. So I'm lucky to have a group of really good friends who are also very entrepreneurial. We all owned our own businesses at around the age of from 20 onwards. We were involved in our own businesses, and these guys happened to be in packaging. And it was them who were sort of saying, our clients are asking us about plastic and what alternatives there are. And I kind of went, what do you mean? Like, why? Who cares? Yeah. And that's sort of where I started learning. And then I started researching different materials and, what could be an alternative. So it was just an idea. Like, I wasn't setting out to start a business at all. I was just interested. And the more and more I learn about it, the more interested I got. Next thing I knew, I was traveling around the world looking for different alternatives and having a good time at the same time.
Of course.
You may as well.
Treated it like a holiday. Yeah, you gotta have some fun, a couple of beers in the evening,
Yeah.
And
what's your favorite beer internationally when you travel? This is a total cutoff and a tangent.
My favorite beer?
Yeah, when you're traveling, you did your travels to find the perfect solution to plastic.
It's like asking someone who their favorite kid is. Like, who's your favorite, your mom or your dad? Come on, you can't ask me that.
I know who my favorite kid is.
His kids are listening to this show, too.
I bet they know who it is as well.
No, okay, so... All right, then I will rephrase. I apologize for making fun of your beer children. That was an awful thing to do.
Yeah, very offensive.
That was a terrible thing that I got you. Okay, so what are some notable beers that you had on the adventure that would be worth calling out?
This is going to be really boring, but I always tend to go to like the most popular local and like pretend it's incredible. Like, it doesn't taste any different to any other beer around the world. But I really like pump it up in my head, and I'm with the locals cheering, cheersing and things like that. So a big one for me is Tsingtao in China.
Okay.
It's a big one. Yeah, it's a big one. It tastes like crap, but I love it.
But it was a memorable experience at the bar.
Absolutely. Nostalgic, right?
Yeah, that's it.
By the way, we're very similar people because you and I would do the exact same thing.
We have, and we
will, and we always will do that. When we went to
Germany, we did exactly that.
Where if somebody presents you something, and maybe it's not that great, but boy, oh boy, the improv and acting skills are going to come out, and we're going to really play up how much we love it because it means a lot to the person.
What are you going to tell the person? No, your beer sucks.
No,
this is amazing. This is so good. Let's get drunk.
Totally.
Not
honestly,
that we do that.
In New Zealand, civil wars have almost begun through beers. The South has Spates and the North has Lion Red, and no one's ever going to change that. And we have to be quiet about it. When you go down south, you drink your Spates and you shut up.
Because otherwise it's death.
You don't want to cut it. Yeah,
It's Spates or death.
It's the same thing in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
totally.
every region, every territory has its own.
Can you tell me which one's better in your opinion, or will that get you kicked out of New Zealand?
No, I'm a brave man. I'm a brave man. I'd go for Lion Red over Spates any day.
Lion Red, okay.
So you're with the loyal. So you're loyal to your. I mean, you agree with what the people around you say. You have the best.
The Lion Red.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's an easy way to go about it.
Yeah.
If I'm really honest, they both suck. But
but you're loyal to your local. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna get some then. I'm gonna try to find some at like Bevmo or something. I want to try some Lion Red, or should I wait till I get to New Zealand?
No, let's have it. Let's have it when we
Really
visit. We'll
don't
go. We'll go see you. We're going to visit you, and then we'll have it there. We'll go to the bar together, and then Jacob and I will go. This is the most incredible beer we've ever had in our lives, and we'll drink it. And it'll be great.
Yeah, I love it. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Well, I know we've run a little long. I mean, not a little long, but we're nearing the end of the show. But I did want to point out that I looked up the Compostic packaging and everything, and it looks like
Compostic.
Sorry, Compostic. the entire packaging looks like the whole thing is kind of organic, breakdownable materials. Is that true?
Yeah, man. I think it was so important for us. Like we're building a sustainable business, right? And you see a lot of corporations out there who like have these products that are sustainable and then they're wrapped in plastic or they've got this and the other.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like, God, that is absolutely mental. So I spent about 6 months on the packaging. Like all of our inks are soy-based inks. Like this is all compostable. Awesome. It's all recycled craft paper. Like we don't have any plastic cutter on here. Like I know people are used to using plastic cutters.
Yeah.
Get over it. Okay. Yeah. You don't need a plastic cutter. And we try to be innovative. So like when you use the product, instead of having a cutter, the sides are pre-perforated. So you can just rip it off.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And like, again, laziness, right? People love that. We call it husband proofing. It's easy. I could never
I love that.
I could never use cling wrap in the past. I put these perforations on it. No problem anymore.
So easy.
So easy.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. So all of those things were incredibly important to us. It seems so hypocritical to go out there and say, oh, we've got this amazing brand new product that's compostable and here's your plastic cutter and, your plastic coated packaging and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's like,
I just thought that was cool. I could tell that there's some effort, and that's this stuff isn't easy, right? That's the thing about when you pursue this. It's a lot of work to do it right. To make those extra steps,
Absolutely.
right? It's not the easy road is the materials that you can get quick and easy and cheap, and so it really takes a lot of effort to get something like this made. I'm sure it's been a journey for you.
It does. I mean, it looks so simple, but this thing took 3 or 4 years to develop, and it's a pretty frustrating process. But again, I go back to like we wanted the consumer to have something that functioned. Again, it's all good and well to say, hey, this is the most environmentally friendly product on the market. Can I use it? Nah, not really. Doesn't really work. Then what's the point? So we spent a lot of time into making this guy as functional as possible. And we believe we've created a product that's better than traditional cling wrap with things like the perforations that make it a little bit more user friendly.
Yeah,
so those things are really important. And I guess it's the same with the bags as well. These are hard to get the zip to work. Like you wouldn't believe the effort that we go into to get the zips to seal and all those things. But if it doesn't work, then
nobody's going to use it, right?
Exactly.
You fail the lazy factor.
Yeah, you fail the lazy factor. It's got to work. It's got to do the thing.
Yeah, I had to put in a lot of work in order for other people to be lazy.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I cut you off with the beer thing in the middle of your story. So really quick, before we go, so where on your travels did you eventually find the answer? And you were out looking for where you were going to find this solution to the plastic problem.
So in China, funnily enough, that's where a lot of the innovation in this space is happening.
Interesting.
There's a lot of certain connotations with China. But actually, they're working towards a much more sustainable future. There's a lot of innovation in that area. They recognize that that's where consumer trends are going, and they're really working towards that. I think China's come a long way in the last little while. That seems to be where a lot of the innovation is taking place.
Interesting.
Super cool.
Cool.
It's a big country. Yeah. So we got some pockets of people that are making some stuff happen, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, center of manufacturing on Earth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. So it is in the United States, right? We can get our hands on this. So how do people find if our audience wants to pick some up and wants to start using Compostic? Where do they go? How do they do it? What's the trick?
So really simple at the moment. You jump on Amazon. We're available nationwide. Put the word Compostic in. You'll find the different sizes of our wrap, all of our resealable Ziploc bags. So you got these tiny little snap lock size, cute little kitty size. You got the sandwich size and a gallon bag in there as well.
Nice.
They're all really affordable. So jump on, give them a try. And we're working really hard on getting some stores on board as well. We've only been in the country for about 3 or 4 months. We've already picked up 2 of the most coveted prizes for best new product in the country.
That's great.
Congrats. And selling really well in Amazon, and we've got a number of retailers that we'll be looking to launch with in the next sort of 3 to 12 months. So keep a lookout for us. We'll be shouting loud and proud.
Now, we do also have a pretty broad audience in other spots. So is it the same, like if you're in Australia or in Canada or England? Can you pick it up out there?
Yeah, so at the moment we're available in New Zealand, Australia, and America. So in New Zealand, you can pick it up at pretty much any of your local stores.
Nice.
Australia, we're in their largest supermarket over there, Woolworths, and you can find us online with a number of retailers. Yeah,
Nice.
You got it.
Yeah. He's got it.
Yeah.
He
Look
knows
how
Woolies.
excited you got with that. It's like, hey, I know that company.
Oh, I've been to Woolies.
Yeah.
You bet.
Haven't we
no
all?
worries. No walkers.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
What a beautiful place it is.
Yeah.
For Americans, it's like a circus. It's unbelievable, right? If you don't know it. Roller coasters and things inside the supermarket. Yeah, it's a different world in Australia.
You got to keep everybody
amazing.
entertained.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, are there any kind of final thoughts you want to leave with the audience before we wrap things up? And usually how we close out the show is we let you leave, and then he and I sit here with Elise and say
We do
a few
a
things.
6-hour goodbye.
We do a 6-hour goodbye with each other. No, it's usually something that the guest does not want to have to sit through.
No. Plus, we talk about you behind your back.
Yeah, we
And
say
we
all
can't do
sorts
that
of-
if you're
and your cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's to be expected. Everybody does.
Yeah.
There's plenty to talk about. So.
Any parting thoughts for us, John, before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I think for people out there, look for the easy changes. If you can take one step today and another step next week and another one, look for the easy changes, things that are simple swap outs. You don't have to change your life to become sustainable. You don't have to be an activist. These days, it's just logic. You just got to do your bit, right? And every step helps. And I certainly believe that this is a big step in the right direction. If you can get rid of plastic in your household, which is our goal is to make it simple for consumers to eradicate plastic from their lives entirely. If you can start a compost, that will make a huge difference to the world. And it's a really simple start. Sustainability doesn't need to be difficult. It can be really easy. Just take the simple steps. And you'll make a big difference.
That sounds like a commercial for our podcast.
It does.
Honestly,
that was fantastic.
We're just going to take that and play that.
Take that clip and run it as a commercial.
That's our show right there, which you just talked about. That's exactly what. In fact, tell
we
everybody
getting
in New Zealand.
Yeah, you're getting royalties.
Yeah,
Your royalties.
well, for sure.
We pay in beer.
I'll send over an invoice, and otherwise you'll be getting a lawsuit across your desk.
Yeah.
We accept both.
Unfortunately, I only pay in Spates beer. Son of a...
You got me there.
Those bloody Southerners.
Jon Reed from Compostic. We had a blast with you, man, and you're now officially a friend of the Biofriendly podcast, so you're stuck with us, and we're definitely going to come down to New Zealand and hang out with you.
Once they let us pass the wall, we'll be in.
Once we get over those walls.
Yeah, I know a back door. I'll let you in.
Okay,
fantastic. Awesome. It's over by the Shire.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much, man. Have a good one.
Meet you. We'll talk to you soon.
Same to you. Lovely meeting you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, John.
See you later, guys. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a good one.
Well,
that was just a delight with this guy. He's still sitting there listening to us.
That's okay. We'll talk about it behind his back in front of us.
I don't know how to leave. There I am.
You know what? You can stay. You can stay.
I can't leave.
That's okay. You can be here for our post. What did you think about Jon?
John, he's okay.
Yeah?
I mean, it's like he went on about his cat in a weird way.
No, you think that just because it has 3 legs, we should give it special attention.
I can help you exit, I think, if you are
honestly
stuck.
can't
No,
leave.
let's leave him here.
For real?
Let's leave him here.
You want to leave
can
him
be here for the end.
Leave me
Yes.
in.
Hang on.
All right, fine. You're right. Okay.
Let's not make it awkward. Let's make it doubly awkward.
it doubly awkward.
Yes.
Okay, this is the part of the show where
No. So I thought, I'm going to literally talk about Jon. I thought he was great.
Absolutely.
What a
great fit for the show.
guest. He's fun and he's funny and he
It was awful.
fit in with the with the whole feel of the show.
I
I thought,
agree.
crack jokes. Wasn't afraid to talk about beer. What a guy.
Classic Kiwi.
What
The
a
whole
guy.
time I was just spacing out on how I can start composting too.
Yeah,
you were
oh my God,
you were in your head the whole
Yeah, I
time
was
thinking,
like-
I got to get on this.
That's how you know it's
there's
working.
so much
Yeah.
food that I waste.
Yeah.
And you don't
I'm
have
just
to.
like, yeah,
Yeah, that's
See?
good.
Isn't that wonderful, right?
I'm gonna start composting.
Yeah.
Yay, look at that.
Oh, we're converting people all the time. Well, so Jon, this is our tag now that
So
you
here
get to watch. This is
here we
where it
go.
gets this is where things go really pie shaped quick.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Carefully avoiding neonicotinoids.
We are the Siegfried and Roy and Meryl Streep of podcasts.
This show is a joke.
Never believe.
Step 1, chill out.
Spilling the teeth since 2019.
Technically perfect.
Oh
my God, we did
That
it.
was perfect.
we
did
never
the-
get through the
I-
tags.
I was like,
I actually think
Well
that
done.
I think that John's presence
I think
was the lucky charm.
from here on out, when the show's over, we get rid of the other guest. We bring
call-
on Jon.
You know what? I think that would be great. I love talking behind people's backs.
Yes.
I'm really, really good at it.
Yeah.
So
I love
get
it.
me on.
Okay, I
you
love
guys
it.
do your tag, and then we'll take
just-
them down a peg.
I love it. People do need to be knocked down a peg.
I love it.
Particularly some of the so-and-sos who end up on our show, right?
Agreed.
There's
Agreed.
so many.
Real goobers.
Well, it's always the opposite.
No.
They're too important.
They're too
People.
serious.
Yes.
Serious.
All these important people like Jon coming on the show thinking they're so great.
Yeah. All right, we got one more thing to do before we're out of here. Ready? Okay. Cheerio.
bye.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.